earlier from Senate Republicans as they were blasting the Biden administration as well as President Biden on this border crisis, calling it too little, too late. We're also, of course, getting reaction from House Republicans as well. I do want to show you this statement by Representative Monica de la Cruz, Republican representing Texas, saying President Biden's plan to deal with the surge in illegal immigration is too little, too late. The Biden administration undid President Trump's successful border policies on the first day of its administration and has left the border wide open. We have seen millions of illegal immigrants not only cross the border but released into the United States by a Biden administration that appears to care more about helping illegal immigrants than upholding law and order in American communities. The House passed the Secure the Border Act, which would have codified what we knew to work, including the resumption of the Remain in Mexico policy. Mr. President, demand the Senate pass the Secure the Border Act now. And now joining us here on Live Now from Fox is Representative Monica de la Cruz. Thanks so much for being with us here. Just moments away from President Biden and what you say and other Republicans, too little, too late.
That's exactly right. Too little, too late. And what we're really going to see in moments is that President Biden is finally caving to what the polls are showing, which is Biden's open border policy is not what Americans want. They want a secure border. They want a secure country. They want law and order. And it is only for that reason that Biden's poll numbers are failing miserably, that he is doing little today.
And of course, we knew that these orders could have happened in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, just weeks before now, the first presidential debate there. What are your thoughts leading into the debate there, and how will it be for him when he has to deal with those questions on the border?
Well, that's exactly why we are seeing this action today. President Biden has always had the power of the pen. However, he did not want to pick it up to actually secure our border. It's only because he sees his poll numbers that he's losing to President Trump, that he'll lose in November, that he is deciding to do this executive action today. Honestly, President Biden has no business working in the White House. Where he should be working is at Trader Joe's.
And what do you see in your communities in Texas relating here to the border crisis? What do Texas people and Texas voters see really on an everyday occurrence because of this border?
Look, what we see is the lack of border security, national security. What we see is the strain on community resources. What Americans want is they want law and order. This is a wonderful country. Many people migrate here legally because they want the safety of living in American communities. Joe Biden has destroyed this by his open border policy. Again, he sees he's failing at the polls, and that's why he's making this executive action today, because he's trying to pull the wool over Americans' eyes and pretend like he's actually doing something. What he should be doing is telling the Senate to pass immediately the Secure the Border Act that the House passed a year ago already.
And what do you think is the reason why President Biden has not addressed this before? Why do you think, in your words, why President Biden would allow more illegal immigration into the country?
I believe he's turned a blind eye to the illegal immigration because ultimately he wants these illegal immigrants to become his voters. He knows that Americans are not voting for him. The polls say it. Even from liberal media show that he is underwater when it comes to his polling numbers for the November election. So I believe that President Biden is wanting these illegal immigrants here so that he can get them to the polls, quite frankly.
And Representative, when we see the images of course, this is what so many Americans always see. You see these shots on the news of the migrants at the border, but we don't see what really happens after they come to the United States. Can you give us a glimpse of what that process is like when, say, you have had an illegal immigrant in here for the last 3 months? What does that look like for that individual, and what kind of strain does it put on not only authorities but also communities that are on the border?
Well, what we see is a catch and release process where thousands upon thousands of illegal immigrants are caught and then released into the United States. We don't know what their intention is. We don't know why they're here, how long they're going to stay. And this is very concerning. In fact, it's a national security threat. We know of over 300 known terrorists on the terror watch list that have been caught at our borders. It's simply unacceptable. The strain that it causes local communities like mine, the healthcare system, our law enforcement that has to back up our Border Patrol officers to help secure and process these illegal immigrants is simply unacceptable.
And lastly, what do you think other countries, when they look at what is going on here on our southern border, what do you think other countries around the globe think about the situation that we have going on right now?
Look, I don't know what other countries think, because what matters is what Americans think. What Americans want is they want law and order. They want a secure border. They want to know that they live in a nation that is safe and taking care of them. And under Joe Biden, we have had none of that. We have had an unprecedented amount of fentanyl coming through our border. We have had teenagers dying of fentanyl. We have had illegal immigrants in our country who have just recently, a couple of days ago in New York, it was an illegal immigrant who shot at police officers. There is nothing but chaos under President Biden.
And Representative Monica De La Cruz, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox, leading us up to President Biden remarks and giving us your insight. We appreciate it as always.
Thank you.